The Nairobi Central Business District swung between a ghost town and a racing field as a section of protesters dodged police lines and entered the deserted streets. As the morning set, cat-and-mouse games ensued on the streets of the capital as bands of protesters attempted to make their way to the KICC, the venue opposition leaders had picked as the starting point for the march to State House. And as Brenda Wanga now reports, tear gas, water cannons, stones and other flying missiles were the stock of the trade in the Nairobi CBD.
From early morning, the signs were clear that this was not going to be business as usual in the capital Central Business District. Heavy security presence along key buildings, particularly the KICC grounds, and with good reason. The historical grounds was the venue of the start of the demonstrations called by the opposition to protest against a number of issues, including the high cost of living. The demonstrators started gathering in small numbers as early as 8 a.m., making their voices heard. The security agencies deployed, indicating that they were equally up to the task from the very start. Their brief to keep the protesters from accessing the CBD and the venue of their demonstration. But with each passing hour, the demonstrators' numbers grew, and so did their intent. 2 hours into the protests, the streets of Nairobi were soon engulfed in clouds of tear gas smoke, choking the business life out of the streets and keeping those not involved in the demonstrations out of the streets as well. But the same tear gas only seemed to embolden the protesters, who gave as good as they got, often taunting the officers for more of the tear gas. In the midst of the confrontations, destruction of property soon followed. Downtown Nairobi along Tomboya Street, bearing the brunt of the demonstrations, angry protesters stopped from getting into the heart of the CBD, turned their wrath on installations by the roadside and nearby buildings. Pretty soon, it was a no-go zone, with roads barricaded, fire burning, perhaps an indicator of the rising political temperatures that have been bubbling under in a country that the opposition says is burdened by an increasingly high cost of living and the attendant challenges that come with it. On any other Monday, the streets of Nairobi will be bustling with activity as the residents of this city went about their normal businesses. But not today. These streets have instead been turned into a battleground, with law enforcement officers on one hand and determined protesters on the other, seeking to gain access to the KICC grounds, where they had hoped to begin their grand march to State House, Nairobi. The protesters did not achieve their target today in the protest that took the better part of the day, and by evening, the streets of Nairobi had an eerie calm as cautious city dwellers retreated to their homes to nurse the losses inflicted by the street mass action. The opposition has said these protests will happen every Monday until the government listens to their grievances and offers acceptable solutions. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.